It is significant in that it shows quite how isolated the US is in the Security Council on this issue. It also heightens international tensions. We're essentially seeing a standoff between a superpower and the rest of the world. The US says that sanctions on Iran have to be restored, and a conventional arms embargo on the country will no longer expire in mid-October. But the problem for the US is that the rest of the Security Council doesn't agree. 13 of the 15 members of the Security Council argue that Washington can't actually trigger snapback because the US is not even a part of the Iran nuclear deal anymore. It pulled out 2 years ago when Trump called it the worst deal ever negotiated. Now, this is, of course, then a unilateral declaration, but even if other powers say it doesn't hold, it is really still of concern because the US has promised to impose consequences on the countries that it deems in violation of the sanctions. And that really is quite a threat because those countries seem to be in defiance by Washington can be denied access to the US financial system and markets. And so this latest move from the US shows just quite how far it's prepared to go in continuing its maximum pressure campaign on Iran. Let me give you context. Back in mid-August, the US faced humiliation at the UN and the Security Council when it tried and failed to extend this conventional weapons embargo that was imposed back in 2007 by the Security Council. And that embargo is set to expire next month under the Iran nuclear deal, but then the US said that it was going to trigger snapback sanctions under the Iran nuclear deal. So Secretary of State Pompeo, US Secretary of State, came to the UN and launched a scathing attack on France, Britain and Germany, saying that they're siding with Iran's Ayatollahs. So you see these high tensions between the US and countries that really ought to be its allies at the UN.